Good morning, everyone. It's Lee Henson, President and Founder of Agile, and it's time for today's episode of the Daily Standup. So without any further ado, let's get started. It's Monday, and it's time to kick off another week. I hope you had an amazing weekend. I know I did. Got to spend a lot of quality time with the family. We played a big game of gestures, and that was totally fun. Just lots of cool stuff that you could do. I mean, the pandemic doesn't have to get us all down. It's time for us to find creative ways to get through things. Speaking of creative ways to get through things, I recently saw a blog post. It was just from a few days ago, and it's titled, "What Does It Take to Make an Agile Transformation Sustain?" And, my initial thoughts were this is a mental shift or a culture shift, and it takes, a shift in organizational understanding, but also a shift in organizational culture in order to make it work. That it's a combination of what you know and how you apply it, right? So I'm hoping that that's the direction this article goes in. But I'm going to take an opportunity and we're going to study it together right now. This is the first time I've pulled it up. And I love where it kicks off. They talk about Agile being a business of transformation. And agility means that you're making the right choices and that you're making a transformations necessary in order for your organization to do things differently. All too often, I hear people say, "I want to do the same thing as I'm doing now, but I want to scrumify it or I want to agilize it." And that just sounds yucky to me. It just feels like you got some kind of little satchel of pixie dust that you could squirt on something and make it agile. And that's simply not the case, right? What you should be focused on is how to get people to understand agility and how to reduce work in progress and how to swarm to get things done and how to influence people to move forward and make better choices and how to encourage people to try new things because failure is an option, right? But in order for most of these things to be successful in agile transformation, the author describes three things that they need in order to make it happen. And I agree with these three things. The first thing, well, here are the three things. They say they need a goal, a mandate, and knowledge. And I totally agree. They talk about the goal. Now, this is interesting. And the article describes the goal being brought in by the leadership team, that the leadership team gives you a goal for what they expect with regard to Agile, implementation. Now, to be quite honest, I'd say it's about 50-50. In half of the organizations, they know exactly what they want. The leadership can bring the goal and we're good to go. But in the other half of these organizations, that's not how it happens. What I see is that the leadership has some idea of what they want, but they've come to you, the Agile coach, for guidance. So a lot of times they don't really know what their goal is. I mean, they could have a dream, but sometimes it's not in line with what the company can actually do, what's achievable, what the teams can do. It's not sustainable. There's a lot of things that you need to figure out in order to make it a sustainable goal. So I often tell people to focus on small initiatives first and build on those small initiatives. Earn a few stripes on your belt and then commit to the bigger initiative. Second thing is a mandate. Now, the mandate is interesting. So I don't know that I often use the word mandate or even that I like the choice of that word. Let's see what he says here. He says the highest ranks in the company need to give a mandate to make change in their organization. Okay, I agree with where they're taking this. I think that, senior leadership does need to make it a point to say, hey, I know change is going to happen. I expect change. I want change because change generally brings resistance. And I think that it's just a natural cause and effect type thing, right? But I think that if you teach people to align with a common goal, that's good. But oftentimes it's not enough. They feel like what they're doing is going to be squelched or stomped on, or that they're going to get fired, or that they're going to, get their flame put out from under them, and that they're not going to be able to continue. So you do need support from leadership in order to make things happen. So in that vein, I do feel like mandate could be a good word, but I don't know that I'd call it a mandate. I think more importantly, I'd call it an empowerment, an enrichment. I think you need to empower the teams and let them know that you support them and that you're not enabling them to make these choices, but you're empowering them to make these choices to help the entire organization be better. And the third piece is knowledge. Now, knowledge is the one that's most interesting. So I recently had a student who came to my class and they were in my advanced Scrum class. They were all excited. And about an hour in, you could tell this person felt really uncomfortable. And I was like, is everything okay? And they said, maybe my first class wasn't all that it cracked up to be. And at first, I thought maybe this person had English as a second language or that other things were going on. But what I quickly learned was that this person didn't have a level 1 Scrum Alliance certification. Not only that, but their instructor wasn't very good. The instructor that they had was very dogmatic. They said, this is what the book says, this is what you do, these are how meetings flow, this is how long it will take. And this person went back and tried to apply it and really struggled. And I struggled for some time before trying to take my advanced course. The problem was my advanced course was almost too advanced. It was light years ahead of what they had, and they really struggled. So my wonderment here is when it says knowledge, is the entire company on the same page? One of the things that I'm starting to notice is an ongoing trend here is that a lot of companies are calling me because all their people are working remote. And instead of taking certification courses, they're leaning more towards taking fundamental courses or foundational courses. And not to say that people don't know what Agile is, and we don't even start there. It's not an essentials course. A foundational course is more in the middle tier. And it just takes everyone and says, hey, we all know that you know Agile. We know Agile too. Let's all get on the same page and do it the same way. So we're marching to the same beat of the drum so that we're moving in the same direction. Because I think a lot of times when we start assuming that everyone's doing things the same way we are, that's when we realize that we have a lot of gaps. And those gaps create pitfalls, they create lost opportunity. So I think it's important for us to satisfy those gaps or figure those gaps out so that we can be moving better in the right direction. If this trend tends to continue, I think then we can start organizing, saying what meetings or events need to take place and who needs to be there. And let's make sure that we're doing it the right way. Let's identify patterns and anti-patterns and talk about cultures and system structures and the way things are put together. Then we can go on to discuss operative mental models and psychological safety and trying to get everybody to do the things they need to do in order to have a real concrete implementation that's solid, that foundationally you can stand on, that's going to help your organization really improve. So I hope this Monday kicked off good for you. I hope this was a shot in the arm you needed to get things started for this Agile week. We invite you to tune in to the rest of the week for many more topics on the Daily Stand-Up podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to learn more about this topic or any other, we encourage you to visit agileDad.com, where we got lots of information all available for free right now during the pandemic. Take advantage of that. Go get that information because it won't be free for long. As soon as this thing passes, it's all going to revert back into Agile Dad University, which is a paid portion of our site. So take advantage of those opportunities. And if you have a topic you want us to cover on a Daily Stand-Up, reach out to us. Learn more at agileDad.com. We'd love to hear your topic. Until next time, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Do take care.